Morning, everybody. We'll get started here in a second. Can y'all hear me? Someone put in the comments if you can hear me or not. Would appreciate that. Once you do that, we can get going. Yes. All right. Cool. Thank you, Kendall. Oh, wait. Sorry. Thought I was sharing that. All right. Cool. We can get going here. SPX right now, pre-market trading at 68.67. I'm sure most of you are already well aware from the billions of people out there that are noting the iron condor in the structure. 68.60, 68.65. Top of it, bottom is 6,800, 67.95. So, set to open right at the top of the iron condor. Dude's definitely going to be feeling a little bit of heat this morning. So we'll get into that, and then we'll get into individual equities. If y'all have any questions on those, drop them in the chat. We can review them in a moment. So looking at, right, as we always do, pre-market prep, starts with SPXA, then we get into SPXP. TLDR SPXAs, it looks fine. You guys can go read the notes if you want to. Looking at SPXP here, we have all expirations turned on. One release note right over the weekend. Well, this morning we updated our expiration tiles so you can, it's based on and broken out in the quartiles, so you can see right where the kind of meaningful open interest is sitting, where the meaningful speculation is sitting. So hopefully that's a time saver for you guys there. Right, looking at SPX full complex, again, 68, 65, top of the iron condor structure, going to be a very important level. So yeah, I mean, structure really is just dominated by that right now. So again, here's the mechanics of a short iron condor structure. Y'all can look at this in the Discord. Right, we expect more of a kind of choppy pinning action when we are in between those goalposts, and then once we see kind of a break on one side or the other, that's where we expect to see a continuation in that side, just given kind of the Greeks and what's happening there. If we do see a follow through kind of break out or break down, then we want to see that intraday volume activity complementing that move or confirming that move along with the market trend model. Give me 1 second real quick. All right, and we're back. So yes, this is the iron condor structure for the day. Again, kind of in the context of normal system, Drummond Taylor range 68.50 down to 68.25. So you can think of those kind of key goalposts within the larger structure itself. So above 68.50, we expect kind of a move up to 68.60, 65. Then from there, it's really just a function of how aggressive the buyers want to get. And then same thing to the downside, below 68.25 can kind of cheat, entry down to 6,800, 67.95. Yeah, potential to trap between 68.50 and 65. That's this region right up there. Let me see what else. Yeah, we got the name levels here. We discussed all those. So yeah, that's kind of it for on an intraday basis. Let me know if you guys have any questions right now. Looking at the market trend model. In the short term, right, railroad tracks higher, cumulative tick trending higher. So, short term bullish momentum higher. You want to see that continue. Obviously, because really that's just a one-day phenomenon right now. Had a couple weeks of the market trend model trending lower. The ribbon kind of flat right now. We are trading technically, above the bottom of the ribbon. So again, that is constructive as well. But we just want to see a continuation of that today. Want to see new highs continuing to outpace new lows. So this can be very telling as well, right? If we do break one side or another, see a continuation, and that's how we want to see it kind of manifest in the market trend model. Going to some single stocks now, right? These are just quick scatter charts we put together quickly, kind of show what single stocks may be interesting to have on your radar. So these are, this are call dominated scatter plots, right? Call dominated above the spot price. We have distance to P-trans, which is our key upside acceleration zone. Here on the x-axis, y-axis is distance to P-gex, right? Which is our top upside strike, convex strike. Target number one. And this kind of green box is something I draw. You can think of this as kind of the strike zone. Right. The reason for that is there's good risk to reward, distance from P-trans to plus gex. So as an example, Roku, 1% downside, potential for 5% upside. Qualcomm, 1% downside, 8% upside or whatever. XOM, Broadcom, Airbnb. So you guys get the idea. Just kind of a quick way, right? Taking the thousands of stocks out there and kind of just whittling it down to 10 or 15 stocks you're probably worth looking at. Put dominated scatter plot, same thing here, but we're looking at distance from N-trans and negative gex. At the very least, these stocks probably shouldn't be on your watch list when they go long these names, just because they are put dominated. Looking at the core stocks, again, the core stocks is just kind of a list of, it's really these names right here. It's the Mag 7 plus, some other larger components in the market from the various other sectors. Again, just a quick look to kind of see where those are trading at. So, NVIDIA, right, kind of 3-to-1 upside. Google, kind of 1-to-1 risk to reward. Oracle, negative risk to reward. Tesla, negative risk. I don't know, about 1-to-1 risk to reward. So again, you get the idea there. Meta looks pretty good here. Less, 0.5% downside, 6% upside. Then looking at sector ETFs as well. You can see all those are below P-trans right now, which isn't ideal. But again, yeah, just something to look at there. So with that, let me know if you guys have any questions. Happy to go through any individual stocks you want to, all that good stuff. Again, just looking at the pre-market. We got SPX, flirting right up here. We'll just mark 68.60. Was it 68.60? 68.65. 68.65. 68.60. We know 68.20 was top of the, no, 68.50, sorry, was top of the Drunken Sailor range. And then to the downside, we know that 6,800 and 67.95. That's an important note right here to see, right? Noting above 68.65, seriously call dominated in terms of our, synthetic net open interest. And as we move upward, right, we're capturing more of those calls, flipping them in the money, implicitly rejecting the money puts. Money matters, obviously, and that would help us with, some upward support. So that's just important to note. In terms of upside targets, right, 69.15 is, probably the upper end of that today. But again, got to work through 68.65. And we want to see that buying come in via the market trend model. We wouldn't just blindly go long, right, just because we break above 68.65. We want to see that the, speculative dynamics on an intraday basis are there as well. Then looking at looking at the individual components here. So the thing I'm looking at here is Google and NVIDIA, the only names that are above prior day high. Everything else is within prior day highs. So I don't know, do with that with what you want. But Palantir is an interesting name. See if that can get above prior day high, maybe potential to move higher. Same thing with Microsoft. Tesla's kind of right at prior day high. Amazon's right at prior day high. So those will all be interesting names to look at today. So yeah, let me know if y'all have any questions. If not, we can cut it short there. Get ready for the open. And for those that missed it last night in the open mic, we talked a lot about those new speculative charts that we have, the Spec P and Spec PS charts that we launched last week. The spaghetti model is kind of a derivative of the vol in command centroid. So y'all can go look at those. Go back, review that video if you want to. It's towards the beginning. What were the names you were looking at? Amazon, Palantir looked interesting. That was at pre-market highs. I think Tesla was right at pre-market highs. Yeah. Or Google, maybe it's Google. Maybe Google's above pre-market highs too. So. All right, cool. Yeah, as Paul noted, right, we'll be invoiced today. All that good stuff. So All right, we'll cut it short there, and we will see you guys in the Discord here in 10 minutes. Thank you.